All right, the Detroit Lions have a front office shakeup. We don't talk about the front office much, thankfully, because we really haven't had much turnover there. But now we do. Before we get started, let me know. We like doing this in the offseason. Let me know your favorite linebacker all time for the Detroit Lions. You cannot say Chris Spielman. Stephen Tulloch. Love that guy. Right when we were kind of winning a little bit, 2014, 2011, 2012, 2013, something in there is Stephen Tulloch. So let me know in the comments. Okay, here it is. This story is interesting, and then we're going to look at the draft up ahead and kind of some of the things that we're going to do. The Detroit Lions Director of Scouting Advancement, Mike Martin, is set to become the next general manager for Notre Dame. So this is interesting because he was hired right at the beginning of the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes era. So this tells me a lot that he's important. He's part of this regime. These guys kind of handpicked him to be the guy that they wanted to do things like right here. He works with the college and professional personnel staff to enhance the scouting and roster building process. So it's a layer within the general manager. We just know Brad Holmes, we see, and he gets the credit and we talk about Brad Holmes, but we know that there's an assistant general manager. We know that there's a guy like this who's the director of scouting, kind of manages all the scouts and things like that. So Martin has had this role all 4 years with the team. And during that time, in just 4 drafts, the Lions have selected 6 Pro Bowlers and 3 All-Pro players. Hey, join Factor and take the stress out of meal planning. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, cooking fatigue, trying to figure out what are you going to do. Take the stress out. All you have to do, pop this in the microwave and boom, you're done. That's it. Everything you want right here in your hands. It's easy, gourmet meals, premium ingredients, simply heat, and boom, you're enjoying it. I love Factor because it's so easy and flexible. You can pick when you want your meals to come, what kind of meals you're getting. They've got all kinds of different snacks, even drinks. This is great. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50STDetroit to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50ST Detroit. Try it out. See that first box. See if you like it. Again, head to factor75.com. 50ST Detroit for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Brad Holmes has specifically mentioned Martin among a list of others as the key members in their draft operation. So I said we didn't really talk about this a whole lot because we haven't really lost a lot of guys, but there's been a few now, and this is where we don't, I guess, talk about this. We talk about coaches, players, but the front office stuff, because the Lions are run so well now, people are looking at it like, all right, how can we emulate what the Lions are doing? So you see Lance Newmark went to the Commanders. There's been a couple other guys. The Lions director of college scouting, Dave Sears, was hired as the assistant general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. So this is a pretty big one in terms of front office. He's a couple steps below Brad Holmes, and it's something that we have to be aware of just because, again, we don't think about this. We think of coaches are definitely going to leave, but what about front office people? They're like, we love the way that you've drafted. We love what you're doing, because the draft is the secret sauce. We've learned this now, being Lions fans, because we've seen it in action where it's like, yeah, if you can draft well, it really helps. Look at this. Our last draft is kind of almost yet to be seen. I think Terrion Arnold, we can all agree, great. And Christian Mahogany showed some really good things too. But other than that, it was kind of a, I don't know, Rakestraw need ya. If Rakestraw turns out and Giovanni Manu turns out to be good players, then this draft's all well worth it. And then because Wingo was showing something, Mahogany's got something, Vaki, so it's yet to be determined on this. And that's how most drafts should be. But you look at this kind of all-timer, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, that changes your complete franchise. Just changes your franchise when you can hit those first 4 picks right there. And that's it. It's like, I don't even care what happened in the back half of this draft. But look at these. I mean, first 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s. And knocked him out of the park. Hendon Hooker to be determined. Go back one more. Aiden Hutchinson all time. Jameson Williams, Pascal, Kirby Joseph, Malcolm Rodriguez. So again, out of 7 picks, you nail 4 of them. And then another one that's an all-timer with Penei Sewell and Aleem McNeil, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Derek Barnes. So, again, Brad Holmes is hitting half of the draft picks. I mean, like all Pro Bowl and half of his picks, which is, you just keep doing that for a couple years in a row, and the next thing you know, you're the Detroit Lions, and you're loaded everywhere you look with premier young players, and it's hard to do. We know that. All right, so you look at who the Lions are supposed to pick. Here's a mock draft that's like, help me see past this one. I struggle with it. Let me zoom in a little bit. They have us taking Jack Sawyer, and that, as living in Michigan, being Michigan fans, Jack Sawyer, it's like, no, I'm good. Is he even that good? Seriously. And again, that's just my bias coming out in me. But look at the players around it here, where you look at a defensive end here, Texas A&M defensive end, interior offensive lineman Tyler Booker from Alabama. It's like, okay, I can get down with some of that. Walter Nolan, Ole Miss defensive lineman. So that's who's going to be like in that late 20s. Not a huge Jack Sawyer guy. Next pick, pick 2, Isaiah Bond, wide receiver, Texas. Again, I don't love that one, but I'm looking around at the other ones, and we've got a lot of defensive ends in this draft, which is just great news if you're a Lions fan. You're just like, yeah, thank you. We need defensive end. The more that you look at our roster, you look, okay, offense pretty well set. We need some more depth and some more security on the offensive line, especially the interior offensive line. Defensively, really not bad, especially when you look at the linebackers. A couple things to do at corner, and that's kind of the big roster decision. PFF kind of put this out, and I totally agree with it. What do the Lions do at corner? Re-signing Davis would make sense, especially given his strong performance in his first year, but his price and injury history could offer some worries. If he walks, then we're just going and signing someone almost equivalent money-wise in Byron Murphy, Kristen Fulton, or Nate Hobbs. So I'd rather bring Davis back rather than go get another free agent that's maybe a little bit cheaper, but you don't really know anything about him. But really what we're looking for is Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw to really step up. Rakestraw especially. He played in just 6 games, and we just never got to see him really finding his way. It was more like, okay, what? Oh, Rakestraw's in, and then he's out. Oh, Rakestraw's in, then he's out. And then he was out for the season. So that's the key. But outside of that, it's defensive end. Get us a defensive end. Draft a defensive end. Please. Draft me a star defensive end at some point during this draft, like in the first 2 picks, first or second round. And then linebackers are good. Secondary, I think we'll figure that out. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Love to have you. Basically just going to get notified when we put out a video. You'll be the first to know. So let me know your thoughts, and we'll see all of you on the next one.